Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot if this is your very first time here. Thank you so much for joining me today for our pick a card reading on a pretty straightforward, short and sweet topic, how to manifest the goal that you've been seeking. So recently, if you've been having a bit of a struggle with trying to figure out how to break through an obstacle on your path towards a certain goal, or maybe you're still even just in the planning stages of how to figure out how to get there, how to climb that mountain, then this is a perfect reading for you to view today. So without further ado, let us pick our pile leaders to choose our piles with. Specifically, I want to tap into spirit guides today to help us with this. So spirit guides of everyone watching, collectively, could you help us choose the right piles for them to pick their reading from? Thank you. Okay. That's fine. It's the very back one. I'll pick it, though. Felt right for pile 1 today. And then for pile 2, we have, I'm feeling this one towards the front. And pile 3, I think that one is perfect. So let's reveal the cards for my wonderful pile 1 today. Over here on the left, we have, oh, very cute, Curiosity with the tagline of bored/curious. And of course, as always, very adorable, we have a little black kitten. Not that I'm biased because I have a black cat myself, but it is very cute. So pile 1, cute card today. Pile 2 here in the middle, we have, oh gorgeous, Transformation with the tagline of repressed/activated. I'm trying to see, what does that text say? Oh, you can't see it on camera, but it says find your wings. Find your wings. It's quite hard even for me to see from just this distance, but okay, so that's pile 2, and then pile 3 over here on the right. Your card today is, ooh, dramatic. Teaching with withheld/giving. Okay. Start colors on that one. So just a quick refresher, pile 1 is Curiosity. Pile 2 in the middle is Transformation, and pile 3 on the right is Teaching. However, as I always say, you're welcome to pause on this part of the reading right now if you need more time to decide. If you are new to pick a card readings, I do have a little segment here where I kind of explain how to choose it, at least in my recommendations. So really think about the goal you have in mind that you want this reading to answer. And with that goal or that dream in mind, close your eyes. Take in a deep breath for a few seconds. I recommend maybe 4 seconds. And as you breathe in, imagine light filling your lungs and your heart. Hold it. And then when you let it back out after a few seconds and open your eyes again, where is your eye drawn and what feels right in your gut? And that is the method I recommend for how you choose your card today. But whatever your method, of course, you can choose any way you want, just even by, well, that one looks cool, right? You can drop down to the description box below or the top pin comment beneath the reading. Find the timestamp in either section there for your pile, and I will see you in our little chat about what you need to do to manifest the goal you have in mind. See you there. Hello there, my brilliant and beautiful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about how to manifest the goal you have in mind. And as you recall, your pile leader today was the card of Curiosity, bored versus curious. And as I said in the intro, with the very adorable little black kitten. So cute. So we'll put your pile leader over here to the left as always. And then to start the reading today, I want to go forward with a few different tarot decks. So first up, we have the Pastoral Tarot, and we're connecting with your spirit guides, as I said in the intro as well. So spirit guides for pile 1 today, they're looking to manifest a certain goal. Could you please help give us advice and tell us more about what's going on with this particular goal they have in mind? Thank you. Alright, well for sure I'm going to take this one. We'll reveal that in a second, and then let's draw your main tarot cards from the Animal Tarot I got recently. I've been so excited to use this deck. Okay. Definitely that is number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and I feel called to this one, number 5. Okay, so let's reveal your first cards today, pile 1. So from the Pastoral Tarot, the very first one we drew, you received the Hierophant. How interesting, and yet you have another cat. So I don't know if you have like a pet cat, pile 1. I'm not necessarily saying that they're a part of the goal that you're trying to manifest, but you do seem to be surrounded by a lot of cat energy I'm seeing here. Maybe you even have a cat cuddling with you right now as you watch this. But the Hierophant is all about, you know, passing down teachings, traditions. It's also about the way things have always been, or the alchemy of change from tradition to accepting new ideas. Okay. And specifically when I drew this in my mind, I asked your spirit guides, pile 1, give me a card that represents who they are in the situation. So you are the Hierophant, pile 1. And what that tells me, connecting that with the meaning I just described, is I think you're in a situation where it's either you want something passed down to you, or you're trying to pass down something to someone else, or you're trying to break a tradition of some sort, which, I mean, it could be literally like your goal is not specifically, oh, I'm going to break this tradition, but by extension, when it succeeds, it'll break a tradition, say, specifically what's coming forward, and this might not resonate with all of you, but I'm hearing something about, for maybe at least some of you, that it's almost like breaking a tradition of poverty in your family, or breaking a pattern in your family. For some reason, family is just really coming forward, which, of course, the Hierophant can deal with sometimes because, you know, traditions. We learn a lot of our cultural traditions from our family. That's how we're raised, right? So it's something like that. Some of you might even have a goal related to being an actual, like, teacher, teaching people things, because this literally is like a teacher in front of an old-timey kind of schoolhouse, holding her books, locking up the door. It might even be a librarian. I guess she doesn't have to necessarily be a teacher, but something where knowledge is passed down and knowledge is kept, and you're trying to seek that knowledge or extend it to other people. Something along those lines. So let's glean more details with your tarot. We have the 3 of Wands reversed. Yes. So I think your goal specifically, pile 1, is that you're having some issues. I think it's that you know the plan, you know what you need to do, but there's something blocking you in the way, because just to kind of explain how the 3 of Wands works, the 2 of Wands is about making plans. The 3 of Wands is about, okay, I've got my plans, I've got my blueprint, now I want to jet set ahead, I'm ready to go. But reversed, it's like, something put the brakes on and is blocking you, and you're like, how do I get this blockage out of my way? Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing for your goal. I think it's more, you know what you want to do, but there's something blocking the way. Okay. Something blocking the way. Sorry, I'm still getting used to setting up with a smaller tarot deck. I'm not used to pocket editions, so I'll figure out the layout later. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and that's actually very interesting, pile 1, because I didn't say this in the intro, but when I was trying to figure out what topic to do today, I asked my deck and my spirit guides, what topic should I do? And lo and behold, the Queen of Pentacles was the card I got. So you literally got this card too. And the Queen of Pentacles is about inner security, inner stability, being practical. Okay, so that's at least part of your advice, is about being practical in some way. But let's, of course, glean some more info. So the next card is, the heart of the matter is the 3 of Swords reversed, overcoming pain. And you've got a lot of 3s too, pile 1. Trying to think of the numerology with that. Overcoming a sort of pain. Yeah, and it's kind of like connected back to that family thing I was talking about, or it's something along the lines of you trying to break away from something that's caused pain in the past. Maybe not even just to yourself, pile 1, but it could be that what you're trying to pass down or teach other people, if like that's your situation, for example, is like helping them overcome a pain of some sort. Like, I don't know, it's like life coaching or therapy, or There's something about alleviating a pain, balming a pain of some sort. I get the sense maybe you're kind of a healing type person. I mean, it doesn't literally have to mean that you're a nurse, although you might be, right? Or a doctor or whatever, insert, healing kind of job here. But I do get healing vibes off of this, especially next to the Queen of Pentacles, And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. Very cute. Look at that. Another cat. You're surrounded by cat energy, pile one. And that's very interesting because cats really are curious. That's why they were in the curiosity card. That old saying, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. Okay. I know we often say just the first half, and people don't often know the second half of satisfaction brought it back, right? But lots of cat imagery, and specifically 2 black cats. 2 kittens, right? It looks like a kitten playing with a ball of yarn. And the Nine of Pentacles reversed is the expression of, I am not getting the fruits of my labor. Like, you have been putting effort into something, but something's not coming back out of it that you expected based on the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it, okay? So that's also popping up. And then we have the Devil reversed, okay, is the outcome. Good thing is an outcome. Devil reversed is about freeing ourselves from the things that are blocking us. Specifically, this is, and I'll just hold it upright, a pitcher plant. And there's a mantis going right towards the pitcher plant. And as we all know, pitcher plants are carnivorous plants. So basically that means they eat bugs like the mantis. So it's a trap. But reversed, it's, I'm freed from what was holding me back. So I'll say this, pile one. You are well on your way to overcoming whatever this obstacle pain in the butt has been. So just take a breath of relief knowing that your spirit guides are reassuring you. Yes, we acknowledge your pain. We acknowledge that this has been kind of a frustrating thing. However, you currently are on the right path towards overcoming pain and freeing yourself from whatever has been holding you back. I mean, sometimes I even see the Devil card reversed as almost like being freed from a jail cell, metaphorically speaking. Okay, it's like there aren't bars holding you back anymore. There won't be, just the obstacles will just clear, I guess. It's just the best way to describe it. So, interesting. Yeah, so we talked about, let's see. You've got the plans, just can't move forward. You're trying to be practical. You're trying to overcome a pain of some sort, but you're not getting the fruits of your labor. However, in the end, you'll free yourself. Okay. So in terms of the advice from your tarot cards, reading it in a different way, continue being that practical person, pile one, as frustrating as it might be, because even though the obstacle is still in your way, that type of energy, if it continues, will help slowly continue to clear the obstacle out of your way, okay? Even though it's been frustrating, like I said, because the Queen of Pentacles is someone who, not only is someone who is fit very well for especially career and financial related goals, because she is of the Earth suit, which is, money, career, home, body, health, things like that in terms of tarot, right? But she's specifically someone who's very good at that internally, right? Kings are more external manifestation. A queen like this is more internal. I feel secure. I feel stable. I feel practical. Statements like that. Okay, so what that tells me is, yes, continue being that practical self. And even if things are still kind of worrying you, it's a call of action towards still feeling safe on the path that you're on, even though it feels like things might be a little bit rocky. Just keep going. It's almost like the imagery I'm seeing intuitively, pile one, is like you looking in the distance, you've been walking on this path, and all of a sudden this storm crops up, and you're like, oh my god, how am I going to get past that? What am I going to do? And it's one of those storms to me where it looks a lot scarier than it actually is. And it's like if you just keep trekking to the path, keep your eyes on the path ahead and don't focus so much on the chaos surrounding. Keep that steady dedication, keep that steady practicality, one foot in front of each other, or the other, I should say, and that will bring you through this storm. And you'll realize, I think, afterwards, oh, that storm wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, not to diminish the struggle, right? Or to demean the struggle that you're going to, have been going through, I think, pile one. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And then the next piece of evidence is, or evidence, not evidence. For some reason, evidence, I don't know, maybe some of you have been trying to collect evidence. Maybe that's where all the curiosity imagery is coming from. Like maybe you are trying to gather evidence for some sort of like court case or something. Maybe that's why evidence popped out. I don't know why I said that, but sometimes we say things and it's meant to be, and it's just a synchronicity that I don't understand until you as the viewer are like, oh yeah, that made sense for me because I'm collecting evidence for something. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Next piece of advice, not evidence. We have the Three of Swords reversed, right? And Three of Swords reversed is, yes, overcoming the pain that I mentioned before, but in terms of like a practical, here's what to do card, it is a call to making sure that you take care of yourself along this path. It's a little bit of like, I see it's like a self-care card. Like things have been tough on you, and even though like your spirit guides are you know, applauding and going, oh, good, you're getting through it. You're toughing it out, right? And that's an admirable thing, pile one. But at the same time, I almost get the sense off of your reading that you might be the type of person who toughs it out to the point of neglecting self-care. So make sure you take care of yourself through this time. Be really in tune with your I'm getting a sense of like maybe you feel kind of insecure because you think it's your own fault that this hasn't come to fruition, when really it's like things outside of your control. So be gentle on yourself in that way too, to not self-blame, not to self-harm mentally and emotionally so much when it comes to, you know, oh, this isn't working out the way I thought it was. Oh God, I must suck at this, or like thoughts like that. Negative self-defeating talk is what I mean, okay? So that is what that card means. The next piece of advice is, so Nine of Pentacles reversed is really, and I know this might sound redundant because, yeah, you already probably came to this reading thinking, well, I'm not getting the fruits of my labor. I'm not getting out what I put in. But that's just another reiteration of that piece of advice here with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, because, you know, I often call it the harvest card. And a reverse Nine of Pentacles is like someone has been putting in, you know, blood, sweat, tears into, say, I don't know, like a garden is a good example. And it's like at the end of the season, every crop is just like a dead, dry weed sticking out of the ground. And you're like, what happened? I gave it fertilizer. I gave it water. Why is it like a dead stick? You know, or like it's just a dead plant, right? And, but I think in terms of advice, it's like a card to... I'm gonna tap in intuitively. I'm getting a little nudge here. 1 second. You know, it's odd, pile one. They're saying it's not so much that you haven't really seen any results yet. They're just saying that some of the results you've seen have tasted kind of sour. It was like someone putting a grape to their mouth, but it was more sour than they thought it should be. Which is funny because the cat is literally biting, like, the yarn here in this picture. Like, eating something, but wait a minute. Doesn't taste as good as we thought it was going to. So, yeah, they're saying it's like... be mindful of not attributing the lack of results or success, or at least the results that maybe you didn't necessarily want, like the sour grape. Don't attribute that to that you didn't put effort in, or that, like I said, once again, it's like that negative self-defeating talk of, oh, well, I'm not good enough. Oh, like it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to because of an inherent flaw within yourself. It's like they're outside factors that are clearing very soon with that Devil reversed, that are going to like clear the way for you to not like get great grapes instead of sour grapes, right? It's just, there are sometimes things outside of our control within the universe. I mean, we often call it divine timing, pile one, where it doesn't happen at a certain time because it's not supposed to happen at a certain time yet. It could be that this is a life lesson surrounding patience. It could be a life lesson surrounding, you know, keeping your spirits up even when things seem dim or when it seems like chances are bleak, okay? Is another thing I'm hearing. So just keep your chin up, keep going. Keep that practical rationality going, okay? Also, curiosity is a very common theme here, as we said before, not just because of your pile leader, but because cats are so emphasized again and again in your reading pile 1. Be curious like a cat. And this sounds kind of silly, but think about how would a cat tackle this problem? And at least, I mean, myself having had like a gazillion cats in my life, the way I would see a cat tackling a problem is they would sniff everything out. Question everything. Look at every single avenue. Look at avenues that you didn't necessarily see before. Because another intuitive message coming through that I'm seeing is like a cat trying to find a way through something, and they squeeze through. And you wouldn't expect that to be a viable way of them getting to the other side of something. But you know how cats can kind of just like fit in like really tight corners and like really, they can really twist themselves around and get into really like, I mean, they find paths that other people would not find. They see things that other people don't see, okay? So think about a path that you have not thought about before, okay? And in terms of advice on, like, you know, because you might hear me say that and go like, well, I already thought about all the different paths. What the heck am I supposed to do? Look in a completely different area than you've looked before. However, that might apply to your specific situation. Pile 1, okay? And then I also have some other cards. I'm going to grab my Divinimation one. So Spirit Guides, any more advice for pile 1 today on reaching their goal besides being curious and keeping through? Okay. All right, so we have 2 that popped out. That is the Infinity-sided die. And if you're not familiar with this deck, it's just, I always have to explain. It's from Gravity Falls as a show. If you don't know what it is, that's fine. I'll kind of explain to you what it means because you might not get the references right if you haven't seen the show. But the Infinity-sided die is basically like, it's kind of like a Dungeons & Dragons reference, but a magical one. And it says endless possibility and unknown outcome. Yeah, so it's like, even when things seem like it's bleak and there's no possible chance. Remember what I was saying before, pile 1? I was like, think like a cat does. Because sometimes they see paths that other people don't even, or they try things that seem impossible that other people would be like, oh, there's no way that cat could squeeze through there. But then they happen to anyway. You know, if it fits, I sits. Because, I mean, that's what cats do, right? So keep in mind the possibilities. Even if something seems like it wouldn't work, it might. Okay, that's another piece of advice. And then we also have Waddles, which is a pet pig in the show, which is so cute, right? Loyal, accessorizable, and hungry. Okay. Which is funny because we were just talking about cats, pets, right? And then, well, now we have a pig instead of a cat. But interesting card for this to pop out. Let me look at this for a moment. Loyal. Yeah, it's like stay loyal to the path. I won't repeat that one too much because we already kind of talked about, you know, just keep steady on the path that you're on. And then hungry. So, you know, it's interesting because I know this is a pig, pile 1, but this pig in the show kind of acts like a cat, especially when it comes to food, like trying to find food to eat. Like, you know, pigs are, they just eat anything, right? They love food, right? Try things you wouldn't necessarily normally try, just like the cat example, but this time with how like a pig might just eat anything that comes in its path. Scrape together every resource you can in places that you wouldn't expect to find, like almost walking down the street and seeing a quarter on the ground and picking it up and going, oh, like if you hadn't been looking and paying attention, pile 1, you wouldn't have seen that quarter and been able to pick it up and add it to your, you know, resources in this metaphor, right? Okay, and then we also have the surrender card, and let's grab the dream ritual first, and then we'll do the surrender card last. Spirit guide, any advice on from this deck for pile 1? What else would you tell them? And that's the other thing too, pile 1, is that with the infinity-sided die, literally anything can happen. The best outcome and the worst outcome. And I think maybe you've been focusing too much on what the worst outcome might be. Focus on what it looks like with the best outcome and really picture that in your mind, okay? And then we have approve. Maybe you're looking for an approval of some sort. Maybe it's like an approval that you're waiting for. You're trying to gain, with the evidence thing that came out earlier, maybe it's like you're trying to gain evidence to get an approval or like documentation, or I mean, it's also just an indication that your spirit guide approves, or I should say plural spirit guides, right? Approve of the path that you're on. And also, like, if there's anything where you have been waiting for an approval, see if you can prompt again, or if you have been wondering why someone hasn't been answering you back, there might be an approval needed on your end, is another little hint, okay? Interesting. Very interesting that it's a full moon, too. Like, oh, it's coming to fruition. It's like it is fullest. Okay. And then last but not least, we have the Surrender deck. This deck is great with practical advice as well. Let's see what else your spirit guides have to say. Interesting. Surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or a situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. So literally, it's funny, pile one, because she's holding her gut. It's like, this is a card of needing to listen to your gut. How does your body physically react to things when it comes to things in this situation? Okay. Is there something about what you're doing or looking for that makes you drained, or is there something about it that makes you energized? And once again, I'm just drawn to that idea of the cat, because cats are really good about the wisdom of their body, right? Cats have pretty good intuition. They have pretty good sense about things. And in fact, even I was thinking about one of the example earlier when I was like, oh, cats kind of know if they can fit in somewhere, even though other people might be like, oh, there's no way the cat could get through there, or like, oh, there's no way a cat could fit in this thing. They know because of their whiskers. Literally, their whiskers are sensors that if the space is smaller or bumps up against their whiskers, they know I can't fit in here because they'll grow as wide as their body. That's why they have them, right? So it's almost like pay attention to how, like a cat pays attention to its whiskers. Look closely at how your body reacts when you move forward on this path, okay? I think there's something that you have a gut feeling about that you're not listening to. And it might be that blockage of thinking it's not a possible route that I can take because it looks sketchy, or it looks like it looks like, oh, that would be an impossible route to take. But once again, think about infinity-sided die. Everything is possible. Okay? Everything is possible with this. So I think if I had to really concretely say, pile one, if there's anything you walk away from this reading with, there's some option forward that you're not entertaining enough, even though deep down I think a little part of you, that little gut says, hey, wait a minute, that could be a choice I could take. You're not listening to it because you think, well, there's no way that could turn out well, or there's no way that will get me where I need to go. It's almost like a side path off the main path, and it's like you think, well, that side path goes off in that direction, so there's no way it'll get me where I want to go because I want to go straight and this path goes right. Well, it's almost like a path that, yeah, it goes right, but it eventually weaves back into the straight path, so it'll get you where you want to go. It's just that you have to trust that, though it might be a little detour, it's going to come right back to the main route. Okay, that's overall what I'm hearing about this goal, of how to manifest it, okay? So let me see, make sure that I didn't miss anything. Just trust your gut. Be curious. That's another two things I would ask that you walk away this reading, or can't talk today. Walk away from this reading with. There we go. I got it out. Keep in mind approvals, okay? Maybe there's something that needs to be approved, or that you need to approve first, that maybe has been blocking it. Especially I think in terms of like if it's like a career related thing. And just know that devil reversed is the outcome right now. Pile one, on the path that you're on, you're already well on your way to unblocking yourself from being trapped where you are, of breaking through that obstacle. Okay, so you're already on the right path. It's just with a little bit of advice from this reading about believe in the possibilities, be curious, things like that. Trust your gut. That will help you get there that much faster. Okay. So that's what I will leave you with for your reading today. Pile 1, I hope it was helpful. I hope it resonated, and I hope you liked it. If so, please like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, hopefully with lots of cat cuddles if you do have a cat, because you're surrounded by cats and you're reading, right? And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about how to manifest the goal you have in mind. As you recall, the pile leader you chose was the very gorgeous figure of transformation with the butterfly wings on her back and the quote, "Find your wings." And as you recall at the bottom, it says repressed versus activated. So we'll set your pile leader over here to the left, as is our tradition. And to begin the reading, I want to tap into both of our tarot decks today. And we're going to ask for advice specifically from your spirit guides. So spirit guides of pile 2 today. Could you tell us more about what's going on with this goal that pile 2 has in mind, as well as some more details to help me understand? Thank you. Definitely this one right here. Okay, there's card number 1. And then I have my little pocket tarot. And spirit guides, please, about 5 cards from this one. Oh, 2 came out. Well, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I feel the back one for some reason. 5. All right, let me adjust in my chair. And let's unveil your first tarot card. So from the Pastoral Tarot pile 2, we have the 4 of Pentacles. So he's sitting by some hay bales. He has reserved his resources. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But it is possible that part of your goal is something about reserving your resources, or someone is holding back resources that you need. That's usually what the 4 of Pentacles is all about. But let's look at the other cards. We have the King of Pentacles reversed as the inciting incident of what's going on. Yeah. I don't know if you've been having some issue with like someone in charge at your job or in whatever this goal is related to. Like, I almost feel like someone's being a gatekeeper and they're not opening the gate for you and you're kind of frustrated about it. And it's like they're either withholding finances or like money from you, or they're not paying you what they're supposed to, or it's like they're taking too much and not giving you enough in the situation. Let's grab the next card and see more details. Page of Cups, a surprise. Kind of came out of the blue maybe, and the Page of Cups is about exploring our heart and our emotions. The Hermit as the heart of the matter. Going within, introversion, introspection to find truth. We also have specifically, this is I don't know if it's a lynx or a bobcat. I always kind of mix up the two, which is sad because they live in my area. I should know this, right? But one of the two is looking at like the North Star, like guidance, looking for guidance, which is, that's what the Hermit does. It looks within itself for guidance. And then we have the 10 of Swords reversed. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I feel like there's someone else in the situation that hasn't been quite fair to you, pile 2. Because the 10 of Swords reversed is like overcoming. I mean, it's hard to say because the 10 of Swords can sometimes be someone has stabbed you in the back. Sometimes it can also mean that something has come to an end and you're ready to move on. Reversed, it's like you're at the point of, I've got the swords out of my back now from this, what I thought was the end or betrayal, however it necessarily applies to you. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I get the feeling for a lot of you, though, this is someone that's blocking your way. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. You know, pile 1 got this card, too. A little kitty playing with yarn. 2 cats today. Lots of cats in our readings. I don't know. There's cats everywhere. Pile 1 had like a million cats, too. So maybe kind of a collective nudge from our spirit guides about embodying the traits of cats, being curious, right? being adventurous. Maybe self-care is another message cats like to give, right? They like to sleep. They take care of themselves, right? And they never really ever feel ashamed about it. They never feel ashamed about taking the nap that they want. But anyways, yeah, pile 2, I get the sense that, you know, even in the gesture of the farmer up here, like he's holding his hands out like almost in a stop motion. It's the feeling of someone holding back something and the other person involved wanting it to flow freely. The King of Pentacles reversed in the very beginning, as a court card, tells me that it's likely like a masculine energy in your life. And even like the farmer here is like, makes me think it's like it's a reconfirmation. It's like a masculine, maybe older energy who is not being fair with career or resources. And I don't think you expected them to act this way, because the Page of Cups is a surprise. It's like, oh, like that just kind of came out of nowhere, as one interpretation. But also, I think the Page of Cups, because they're almost like, I call them like the apprentices or the explorers of their suit. That could mean someone that's kind of exploring new emotions around something. So the Page of Cups might actually like be you in the situation, pile 2, where it's like, you know, we have the kind of tyrannical money or career related person here, masculine energy, and then we have the page over here that's like the person who is kind of maybe newer to something, or I don't want to say like literally beneath the king in the hierarchy, but technically like it could be like a boss that you answer to, is what I'm trying to say. Exploring new feelings around this situation, like I don't know, it's like it feels almost like a betrayal of some sort, like it's betrayed your heart a bit. And so it's like you've gone within seeking this answer with the Hermit as the core, the heart of the matter, as I call it, as the middle card. And it's like you're trying to figure out, like, how do I feel about this? Like, how do I readjust my goals? Because it feels like this person keeps being a little gatekeeper, is not letting you get past. So you're like, what the heck do I do now? At the same time, it's like you're wrestling with the feeling of betrayal with the Ten of Swords reversed. You're feeling like, okay, this path is an end. I need to move on to something new. So it's like you plucked the swords out of your back and you're like, I need to walk on forward now. But at the same time, there's a feeling of injustice with the Nine of Pentacles reversed at the end here, pile 2. And as the outcome card, that also tells me it's like not only injustice, but it's a feeling of like you put blood, sweat, and tears into something and you're not getting out of it what you put in. Because I call, and I talked to pile 1 about this too, because they got that same cat card. The Nine of Pentacles I always call the harvest card, or I like to call it that in my own mind at least. And so with it reversed, it's like you tending a garden and you put in the fertilizer, you went out there and you watered it, you went out there and you weeded the bed, but you're not getting the plant out of it. You're not getting, you know, say it's like, the example I always use is like grapes. Okay, that's what I use for pile 1 too. You're not getting the grapes out of the orchard that you tended to. So I don't know if it's like a boss who is like, they're paying themselves more and they like cheaped you out of a promotion or like cheaped you out of a raise, but like they gave themselves money or something like that. Or it's like they're not giving you the money you need to get a project done, or like the resources you need to get a project done. It's something along those lines. In any case, pile 2, like this situation is very unfair to you is what I'm hearing. Like I don't see anything about you being at fault in this situation. I don't see anything about like that you did wrong. I think this person's just being kind of like a gatekeepy. The word stodgy keeps coming through too for me intuitively. Like they're just stodgy and kind of, I don't want to say grumpy, but I get kind of like angry old man vibes off of this person, even if they might not necessarily be a man, right? But maybe it's because of that farmer's attitude in that picture. But in any case, pile 2, like you're right to be frustrated. You're right to be upset because this is not, you're not getting what you deserve with that Nine of Pentacles as the outcome. And right now, the path that you're on, it's like something that you might not get what you deserve. And so it's like you want to change that. You're like, how do I get what I'm owed? How do I get, you know, through this person who's blocking me? And I think, you know, with the transformation card being the pile leader that you were drawn to, it makes me almost think, you know, it's funny. I know it says repressed versus activated, but to me it almost feels like someone who has a boot stamped upon them to someone who takes the boot off and stands up and boot someone else out of the way is the imagery. I mean, obviously you're not going to be like that violent in real life, but that's the metaphor I'm seeing, or the imagery I'm seeing with this intuitively, is like someone's got their boot on your neck, and then you swipe the boot off and you kick them to the side yourself with your own boot. Like, you're not going to keep me down, I'm going to kick you out of the way. GTFO, like, is what I'm hearing. And so, but maybe you're wondering, like, how do I address this? How do I get what I deserve? How do I, because I want to change that Nine of Pentacles for you into an upright pile too, because that's just not fair, really, especially next to the Ten of Swords. Like, what gives? What is this? What is this crap? Okay, so let's grab some more cards for you. I'm gonna grab my Divinimation Gravity Falls little deck I like to use, although in terms of advice, I do see, at least just from the tarot cards pile too, one advice is to also act with authority in the situation. I think part of the issue has been, and it's not your fault at all, and I'm not victim blaming at all, like, in this situation, but I think, unfortunately, because of the energy of whatever has been blocking you, I think like a person maybe in this situation for most of you, if you stood up with more King of Pentacles upright energy yourself, like, and I'm trying to think of like a tangible example. Like a King of Pentacles, if they were denied a raise that they knew that they deserved, they would politely go into their room with their manager or their office and say, hey, here's the evidence of everything I did, that I did well. I think I should get a raise. What do you think? Like, it's almost having to be a little bit more confrontational, but confrontation with practicality and reason, okay? Leadership, authority. Like I said, I'm not blaming you for someone having put a boot on your throat, but at the same time, it's within your power in the situation pile too to stamp the boot off and punch the person, metaphorically, out of the way. Because, unfortunately, like we all know in life, like, there are just some jerks out there that do not respect, like if they see someone that they think is quote-unquote weak, they're like, oh, I'm just going to step on that person because, like, oh, I'm not going to have any flack or get any, like, comeuppance for that, which is really crappy, but we know there's people that exist out there, right? Pile two like that. So it's like those people, you almost have to just, and I get it, like, I hate having to put my foot down with people too, but sometimes you have to put your own boot down just to get the respect that you deserve, that, yes, they should have given you just for, you know, just to be a nice person and, like, to respect everybody, but as I said, not everybody is like that. So it seems like this is a person, if it's like a specific person that's in your way, gatekeeping or blocking this for you, pile two, the only thing they'll answer to is you commanding and demanding respect. Unfortunately, you shouldn't have to demand it, but with this person you do. So that's what I'm hearing. Let's grab some other advice too. The attic room. Look at that. I'm telling you, pile two. We have shelter, self-representation, company. Okay, so it seems like there's two people in the situation because, and like I said, this is a Gravity Falls deck. If you've never watched the show, I'll kind of explain it. So literally this is like the room where like the two main characters sleep. So it's like two people involved, right? Two very opposite people, boy and girl, though, I mean, you know, genders are kind of hard to read sometimes in tarot readings. But it also is, yeah, shelter, self-representation. It's like you need to stand up for yourself, pile two. You need to represent yourself and say, hey, wait a minute, I've got a case. I'm going to be my own lawyer and you're going to hear me out. Like, and then company too makes me almost wonder if, like, literally it's like, I mean, they mean company in that card as in like someone to, like, you're not alone, like you have company, which almost tells me, pile two, that I think there's more people on your side in the situation than you think. I think more people agree with you. They might just not be saying it out loud, or they know that something has been unfair to you. So maybe kind of try to like muster a little bit of like sniff out what other people think if they're willing to at least tell you, because I think that will help you also gain more for your case and like understand more about how to break through, because, you know, when people agree with you, they might see the situation even in different ways than you do, in terms of, oh, hey, did you also notice this person did this thing to you? And then you might not have even noticed that injustice, but then they point it out and you're like, oh yeah, hey, wait a minute. But I also see company as, like, maybe a meaning of, like, this is literally to do with, like, the company that you work at. Like, once again, maybe a boss I'm seeing for some of you. I don't know. And then the second card is the Amber Cave. Preserved past, dangerous but beautiful. And this specifically, Oh god, it just clicked in. Okay, so this specifically in the show is in an episode where they, like, dinosaurs are involved. So once again, I get the feeling that this is, like, I'm not hating on older people, but it feels like, you know, you call someone a dinosaur, you're like, oh, they're older, right? It's like, too, with Amber having, like, it's a very preservative thing. It's like, this person's trying to preserve the way that things have been, but it's dangerous to preserve the way that things have been. Sometimes it's good for traditions or the way that things have been to be let go, because they're toxic things that should not continue to be sustained. Okay. And I think, too, like, with that Page of Cups before, like I said, this maybe came as a surprise to you. Like, maybe this person didn't exhibit this behavior with you earlier, and so it kind of just came out of left field. You're like, what the heck is this? Right? It's almost like something that was kind of dormant. And, like, they were always capable of doing this, but they didn't do it to you. Because I think of Amber, like, it preserves things. Preserve past, yeah, dangerous, beautiful. And 2, the attic room also represents, like, someone fighting over space. Within reference to I won't explain too much about, you know, I don't need to have a Gravity Falls synopsis here, but there was an episode where people were, like, fighting over this room because they're like, I want my own space. So I think, you know, maybe, too, it's like this person feels kind of threatened. Like, I don't know if maybe, like, this, if it's a raise or a promotion related thing, it's like they felt threatened by, like, you taking up space close to them. Like, they thought, oh, well, and, like, I'm not saying that all, like, not at all, not all older people within, you know, a company are like this, but I've seen before myself where it's like they're nearing retiring age and they're kind of afraid of getting kicked out. So someone with less than pure intentions might be like, well, I'm going to hold that younger person down because I don't want them to, you know, take my role and then I get forcibly retired and kicked out just because, you know, I'm nearing retirement age. Like, at least for some of you, and I'm sorry if it's not resonating with all of you, but for some of you, it really feels like that's the kind of situation going on. It's like, oh, they're going to take my space. And shelter, too. It's like they're trying to protect themselves. But it's like, you need to stand up for yourself, pile 2. Okay, let's grab your other cards. We have, let's see, the Dream Ritual Oracle. Any more advice, spirit guides, for our wonderful pile 2s to rectify this injustice so that they can get the fruits of their labor, right? Let's see. Nourish. We've got an apple with a dinner table inside. Nourish. Yeah, you need to ask for more of what you need to sustain yourself, pile 2. It's not... so the word coming to mind is ballsy, but it's not ballsy to ask for the bare minimum that you deserve for the effort that you put in. Okay? Maybe this person is, or the situation is making you feel like you're asking for too much, but that Nourish card coming out, pile 2, you know what that tells me as a tarot reader? It tells me you're not asking for too much. You're asking for the bare minimum of what you deserve, okay? Because we think of nourish as a word of, you know, we ingest or we do something for the sake of self-preservation, for the sake of being healthy, taking care of ourselves. It's not... Look, this is what I want to say, pile 2. If it offends someone else that you get the bare minimum for what you put in, that person is in the wrong. Okay, and I know we all know that, and it's just basic logic, morality, right? But it's almost like, I don't know if they're trying to make you feel guilty for it too, or someone else did. Don't feel guilty, pile 2. Don't feel guilty at all. Okay, let's grab your surrender card too. I'm getting mad for you, pile 2. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Okay, let's grab your surrender card. Let's see, surrender. What should they surrender? What should they surrender? Surrender to receiving support and love. Yep. So that just tells me, pile 2, that is a reiteration of what I was saying before. Look to see if anyone else agrees with you, but just hasn't really spoken out about it yet. I think there's more people around you that agree with you than you think, that might be able to help you, like, with advice on getting through this, or at least just to clarify that, you know, you're not nuts and, like, you really are being treated unfairly. Because I know sometimes, like, I had that issue myself sometimes, Pile, too, where it's like, there's been a situation where, like, I've been treated unfairly, but then, like, people will, like, gaslight you into thinking, oh, you're just asking for too much. And then, like, other people in the situation are like, no, you're not asking for too much. You're not crazy. Like, look for the support of others involved that can also see this from a different perspective and can give you more clarity on how they see it from their view, okay? But I will read the quote. It says, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Look at that. We have nourish and nurture. So please, self-care is also another really prominent message coming through in this time. Do not be ashamed of taking care of yourself, okay? I won't reiterate that too much because I went on a whole spiel about that, but yes, to, like, look and see if there's anyone else that not just can support you in terms of finding out, oh, actually people secretly agree with me. See if they can even help you handle the problem. Like, and this might not apply to every single one of you, but say it is a situation where there is a boss who, like, you, like, is withholding a raise from you despite you doing, like, the best work ever. And, like, you deserving it, or promotion, or something along those lines. See if there's someone else at the company that you trust that might be able to help speak up for you too. Okay? Like, maybe their boss. I mean, you hate to, like, skip over someone's boss, but sometimes you have to, because it's like there's a blockage because of the person in the way that just will not listen. They gatekeep things, okay? You know, and, well, you know how to, you know how to navigate your own situation, Pile, too, but, I'm telling you, there's someone there that sees your struggle that you're not noticing, like, them, that, like, noticing that they also are paying attention, they also see the unfairness, that I think, I mean, maybe they're waiting for you to speak up for yourself, or, like, they're not sure if that you want them to intervene, but I think if you were to reach out to them, Pile, too, they would help you, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so surrender to support and love, receiving it specifically. I think maybe you're afraid to involve anyone else because you're like, oh, this is my business. But you don't have to handle everything yourself, Pile, too. Okay. Yeah, this is a very justice-oriented reading. I'm surprised you didn't get the Justice card. You did get the Hermit as one of your major arcana today, but yeah, and that will turn that Nine of Pentacles around. Up to upright, of you getting the fruits of your labor, what you deserve, right? Because right now you're on the path of feeling put out, feeling betrayed in a way a little bit, maybe, and feeling like you're not getting what you deserve because of this King of Pentacles energy and the Four of Pentacles, okay? It's not shameful to ask for what you need to survive. And two, I'm drawn back to that quote on your pile leader. It says, find your wings. It's really hard to see on camera. Otherwise, I would show it to you. Because even me just with my eyeballs here, I'm like, oh, what does that say? It says, find your wings. It's like, be bold. Be braver. As hard as it is, pile two. Be bold. Be brave. Find your wings. Don't be afraid to take up space. That's another thing with this Four of Pentacles. It's like someone holding their arms out. They're taking up space. It almost makes me think of, for those of you that aren't familiar with yoga, I do yoga myself, and there's a pose that is called, I believe it's Shavasana. It's called, well, corpse pose is another word. It's basically a pose of just laying down and taking up space and resting, okay? So for those of you who do yoga, I don't know if maybe incorporating, a little bit longer time in Shavasana might help you. But in general, basically, when they say, don't be afraid to take up space, it's an admittance to self of it's okay for me to exist and for me to require what I need to be here. Okay. It's a giving in to I exist. And I'm trying to think of like a more poetic way of putting it, but well, you know what take up space means, pile two. I don't need to talk about that too much, but literally don't be afraid to take up space, okay? Don't be afraid to declare, I am here, I need this, I have done the work, I want the fruits of my labor, okay? Spread your wings, don't be afraid to fly, okay? So that is what I will leave you with today, my wonderful pile number 2s. Please stand up for yourselves. You deserve more. Okay, I'll stop reading that. But all right, if you liked the reading and if it resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 2. Hello there, my beautiful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about how to manifest the goal you have in mind. And as you recall, your pile leader today was teaching with withheld/giving. Very beautiful card. It almost looks like she's blended into the tree, holding up normally I would say the moon, because most of the celestial bodies in this deck are moons, but with the orange colors, it almost makes me think it's the sun. Almost makes me think, too, of the story of the giving tree. So we'll set this over here to the left, as we usually do with pile leaders. And today we're going to begin our reading with 2 tarot decks. We have the Pastoral Tarot to start, and then I have my cute little animal pocket deck as well. So tapping into spirit guides today in their well of wisdom. Could you please give us more cards that explain the situation and what's going on with this goal for pile 3? Thank you, spirit guides. Okay, we have this card here. We'll reveal that in a moment. And then 5 cards from this deck, please. Thank you, spirit guides. You know, they keep saying something about dimming light. I don't know what that means yet, but I'll take those 2. It's like you're dimming your light, or it's like your hope for something is dimming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 5. Pick that one right there. Dimming light. Let's look at your Pastoral Tarot. We have the Chariot. Look at that. Trying to get the hay wagon home before the storm rolls in. And I'll tell you this, having been on a prairie in a thunderstorm myself, that is a scary situation to be in. You don't want to be the tallest thing in a field when a thunderstorm comes by. But the Chariot does usually mean having a lot of drive, going after something, having control is another interpretation, like he has the reins on the horses. Okay? So it's like pile 3. It feels like the goal you have in mind, or at least this card represents you in the situation, is what I asked your spirit guides when I was drawing it. It's like you're trying to get somewhere because you're trying to avoid something else, like the man coming home from the prairie thunderstorm. And you're like, I have full speed ahead. I want this to happen quick. I want this to go faster. There's a emphasis on needing something to go at a higher, more quicker pace than it has been. I don't know if you feel like you're running out of time, too. It's also a little bit of an intuitive feeling I'm getting in my gut for you, pile 3. Like, I feel like I'm running out of resources. I'm running out of time. I gotta get this train going. Okay. Very interesting. Let's grab your tarot. Other ones, I mean. We have the Page of Wands. And I believe that's probably you in the situation. How cute. We have a red panda. And the Page of Wands, pile 3, is someone who's trying to explore a passion or a creativity or something that kind of sparks their spiritual flame. Something that gets you excited, okay? Your ambition is another really good term to use with wands, as they are the fire suit. And interesting, you had kind of that fiery orange imagery in your pile leader. So lots of creativity flowing right now. Lots of ambitions flowing. Let's grab your second card. We've got the 4 of Pentacles reversed with the armadillo. And the Four of Pentacles reversed is about needing to release something, or it's like you want something to be released. Yeah, you're like, oh man, I need this faster. I want to go full speed ahead, but it's not happening at the pace that I want, is what I'm hearing. And it's like the timing needs to be just right, is what else is coming through. We have the Two of Cups reversed as the core of the matter, heart of the matter. Two of Cups reversed as the heart of the matter almost makes me feel like this is a relationship involved. A disharmony in a relationship. So for some of you, it could be that maybe you are dating right now and you're kind of wondering, like, you're really into this situation, but it's like maybe there's like the other person is withholding commitment, or it's like they're not, like you're afraid that maybe you'll kind of break apart. That could be one interpretation with the Two of Cups as the heart of the matter. It could also be that, like, technically there's like a different external goal outside of a relationship, but at the same time, you're afraid that if this goal does not work out, or if we don't get to where we're trying to go, like the man on the the hay cart trying to get home from the storm, that a storm will occur and break a disharmony in a relationship, or create disharmony, I should say, instead of break. And then we've got the Ace of Wands reversed. Look at that. Running out of fuel. Lacking the spark. And then last but not least, we have the Seven of Wands. Look at all this fire energy, pile 3. And it's interesting because, like I said, it's like a storm that he's running away from. And we all know what lightning causes, right? Boom, fire. So, pile 3. Yeah, it's a tardigrade at the end here, too. The tardigrade is a creature that is, I don't know if it's microscopic. I know they're tiny. But the Seven of Wands typically represents a feeling of like needing to defend oneself, defensiveness. It's like you're trying to protect yourself from some sort of outcome. Like, I want to avoid that risk. That's why, like, I want this thing to go faster, is what I keep hearing. And it's like, it's, you know, too, with your pile leader being withheld versus giving, pile 3, it's like something's being held from you, like the Four of Pentacles. And you're like, I want this to give. I want this to get out of the way. Yeah. And for those of you where this is like a relationship where you're dating, and like maybe you're in like the early stages where like commitment is still kind of up in the air, at least in terms of like what you've agreed on with the other person, it's like they're withholding something from you in terms of like their commitment, or like agreement on where this is going. That's another thing too, because the Chariot can also mean direction. Having direction, having control. So if it's a relationship too, it's like a struggle over the control over, okay, who's directing this, who's guiding the reins. When really a relationship should be like the two horses, right? Pile 3. The two horses working in tandem alongside each other. But in this situation, if there's, like, for those of you where it resonates with this as a relationship, it's like one horse is pulling way ahead and one horse is like pulling back here, and it's kind of like fighting over, okay, like who's going to withhold, who's going to give, you know, who is going to, you know, finally step in stride with the other instead of always fighting, or someone trying to control the outcome instead of just letting things happen naturally or in tandem and harmony. Okay. I mean, even if it's not a romantic relationship, pile 3, this might also manifest in the way of you having had a little bit of a struggle with, like, it could even be like a business partner relationship where you're like, okay, I want this business off the ground, but this business partner is not working in tandem with me. Okay. So it's like you're trying to get the reins on it. You're trying to get to the outcome you want. But yeah, it's not working right now. Probably why you came to this reading. You're like, what the heck do I do, right? So in terms of interpreting your tarot cards for advice, we will pull some other cards later, but let's work with the tarot cards first. I want to say one piece of advice, pile 3, is there's something you're giving too much of. Because that is a prominent theme with not just your pile leader, but also the Four of Pentacles reversed, okay? It is good to give when the recipient needs something and you have the ability to give it. However, it's not good to give if it's like, and it's, the imagery is like, it's almost like throwing a coin into a black hole. For those of you this is relationship related, I almost feel like the other person is not, it's like they're not appreciating what you're giving into the relationship. And you're giving too much and they're not giving enough. So part of your advice, like I was circling back to that, is to not give as much. Okay? Give a little bit of slack in the reins. Give a little bit of slack in terms of how much you're investing into this. As hard as that might be, pile 3, sometimes when we let go, that's when something pulls back to us. And even if it's in terms of, like, say, a relationship where, you know, you just started dating and you really want commitment, but they're not into it yet, or, like, they're not giving you, like, solid answers yet, even if that necessarily, like, or if that makes that person go, like, it's like letting them go, that is opening new space in your life for someone who does want to commit, okay? Or say it's a business partnership, same thing. Give into it as much as they do. Reciprocate the energy they pour into it. And if they don't like that, then you can say, hey, I'm just putting in what you're putting in. So if you want more, then you got to give me more. You know, we want equivalent exchange, right? That's fair to you. You want reciprocation, okay? Same thing too if it's like just a goal that you have in mind, pile 3. Sometimes pouring as much investment and effort into something doesn't make the universe give it to us faster, okay? Sometimes the universe withholds things for the reasons of divine timing or it not being the right thing at the right time, okay? So that's advice number 1, applying it to all possible scenarios, right? And then we also have the 2 of Cups reversed. As a piece of advice, it's to seek harmony in relationships, to seek balance in relationships. We already kind of talked about that with equivalent exchange before, so I won't, talk about that one too much, but repeat myself, I should say. It's also looking for people you do resonate and work in balance with. If it comes to the point of this being, this is just, you realize this person's not willing to give as much as you're putting in. Okay. Piece of advice number 3. We have the Ace of Wands reversed. Okay. And that is about refinding what got you into this in the first place. When you started out on this path, pile 3, what was your goal when you took that very first step? What were you seeking? And what is it about where you are right now where you're not getting that thing that you wanted in the first place? What gave you the spark? What was your inspiration? Ask yourself those questions. That'll also help you. And then the 7 of Wands is an indication to protect oneself. Okay? Protect your energy, protect your heart, protect your spirit. Okay? Because I get the sense, pile 3, that it's like flipping that coin into the black hole I saw earlier. I feel like you're giving yourself, like, too much of yourself into this at the expense of yourself. Okay? So go into the future with this goal with a little bit more of a shield up in terms of protecting your resources and protecting you. Okay? Because that's almost like, I said before, it reminded me of the giving tree. And anyone in the comments, feel free to correct me, because it has been years since I read the giving tree. But the story or the moral of it was a tree that anytime this boy walked up to it and asked for something from this tree, the tree always gave it, to the point where I think the tree technically died and there was no tree left. Been a while. I should read that story. I read it in elementary school. It was the last time, I think. But so that's why this is coming up. It's like, I feel like you're the giving tree in this situation, pile 3. Just giving until you're nothing more than a stump. And you have nothing else left to give. Okay. So think about in areas of your life with this goal where you're withholding with too much or where you're giving too much, and find more equilibrium in that aspect too. Okay. Let's grab some more cards. We have the Divinimation. We have a Gravity Falls deck. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, I love Gravity Falls, so I have Gravity Falls decks. If you don't know the pop culture reference of the show, I'll explain it. So, Spirit Guides, do you have more advice for pile 3 on this situation? Okay. First card is the Crate. Stifling, trapped, solvable. So, it's solvable. There is a way through this to manifest the goal that you're looking for, pile 3. So don't feel like it's impossible to find what you're seeking. However, there's something about feeling trapped right now, feeling stifled. You need to think outside the box. You need to get outside the box. And then we have, very interesting, pile 2 had this as well, Amber Cave, preserved past, dangerous but beautiful. Okay. And thinking in terms of the show, because it's very strange. I know this is the way the intuition works with this particular deck, is I always think about where does this pop up in the show and what was going on in the story. So the Crate came up when the characters were they were being sent somewhere, and they needed to get out of the crate so that they could avoid being sent to that certain place. Okay, so it's like, to me, pile 3, that says to me something about your situation where, yeah, it's like you're trying to prevent it going in a direction you don't want it to go. Hence the tight rein control of the Chariot. And the way they got out of it was they had to think outside the box. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly how they did it. It's been a while since I've seen the show, but think outside the box. Let me grab another tarot card on that one specifically. Spirit Guide, just for the Crate one, how would you suggest they think outside the box? We've got the 9 of Cups, wishes fulfilled. This sounds odd, pile 3, but think outside the box in terms of what the wish granted would look like. I think that harkens back to the Ace of Wands reversed. It's almost like, what did you get into this in the first place for, and remember that. In the beginning, what did the wish granted look like? Or the goal, what did it look like, the dream? Because I almost think you've gotten sidetracked a little bit. And then we have the Amber Cave, which is, preserved past, dangerous, beautiful. And the story with that one was, it was Amber that had preserved a bunch of dinosaurs that were dangerous. And so it's like, that's why it says dangerous in the card. So it's like, preserved past, beautiful, dangerous. It's almost like, one moment. Needing to let go of the past. I think a part of your blockage too here, pile 3, is you are kind of stuck on keeping things the way that they've always been. Maybe a bit of a fear of change. So it's like you're trying to move forward. You're like, oh, I want this thing. But there's something about the way you're trying to reach it, or there's something about the goal itself where it's not really that much of a change at all. And so if you were to seek change instead of stasis, that would open up the path, because that's the path you're meant to take, is towards change, not the same things. Interesting. Okay, let's grab your Dream Ritual Oracle as well. Revisit. What did I tell you, pile 3? I was like, remember what you got into this for in the first place? Revisit. Go back to the past. Instead of focusing so hard on the future, pile 3, where you're trying to go, think about the past. Revisit the past. here's what your spirit guides are saying, pile 3. In what situations in your life have you already come across the same problem in the past? And how did that turn out? How did you overcome it in the past? Because I get a feeling of a bit of a cyclical thing out of this. It's like, I don't know if you tend to be, and I say this like not to be like chastising pile 3, but I don't know if you tend to be kind of impulsive or impatient with things. You want things to go fast. So think about situations in the past where you wanted something to happen really quickly. You wanted it to happen faster than it actually did. And think about why it didn't happen as fast as it did. Think about maybe even the ways that it was better. The outcome or the result was better because of you having had to wait for it. That's another piece of advice I'm hearing, okay? And then last but not least, we have the surrender cards. Surrender fear. Surrender fear. And we've got more fire once again. Wands. Wands. Wands, which are fire. Fire. The Nine of Cups is even red. Your card is like red and orange. Lots of fire. Lots of passion. Okay. It says, let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. So, multiple things to unpack there, pile 3. Okay, so I think fear has been maybe driving a lot of this too. Maybe the fear of it not happening fast enough, the fear of losing something because it's not going the way that you expected it to, the fear of things not turning out the way you want them to, right? So I think fear is driving the card a little bit too much. And even, thinking back to the example I used here with the Chariot, look, he's running away from the storm. He's afraid of something. He's like, I don't want to get caught in that storm and get, my butt blasted and toasted with a lightning bolt, right? Which, like I said, I can relate. Been on a prairie in a thunderstorm. Don't advise it. All right. But he's running because of fear. That storm, he's like, I gotta get away from that. So that's the thing. What are you running from, pile 3? What makes you fearful in this situation? And your spirit guides are saying to let go of that fear. Stay in the moment, take it one step at a time. Focus on solutions, and like it says, celebrate every baby step forward. Okay, so that almost tells me if you do tend to be maybe a little bit impulsive or impatient with this particular situation because you just want that outcome so bad, celebrate the journey and not so much the destination. Celebrate every little step. Okay. If it's with someone you, like, let's say, like, it's the commitment thing. Like, you just started dating and, like, they haven't committed to you yet. I mean, pile 3, like, if it's been, like, months and months and months and months and months and this person just won't commit, like, maybe it's time to walk away a little bit. And so maybe the fear that's driving you in that situation is the fear of being alone. So you stay with them even though they're not really giving you equal reciprocation for what you're putting in. Or they're not giving you what you're seeking from a relationship just because you're afraid of being alone. Or it could be the opposite. Maybe you, deep down, you fear that this person doesn't like you as much as you like them. So you want that commitment because you're like, I want that proof of they like me as much as I like them. Okay. So maybe in a way it's a little bit of like insecurity driving that. Or it could be, I'm trying to think, like a business partner thing. You fear taking on the business alone. So even though it's not working out with this business partner, you hang on to them because you think it's better to do it where it's frustrating with this person rather than peaceful and alone. Okay? Things like that. Identify your fear in this situation. Ask yourself, should I really be doing it for that reason of fear? Okay. Let go of fear. Remember what you got into it for. Say it is a relationship. You got into it for love and commitment. Or say it's a business. You got into it because you wanted to provide this service to the world or feel ambitious or successful in this thing. Or, say it is a promotion at work. You want the promotion or you got into this job in the first place because you wanted to help people. things like that. So remember what you got into it for. And let go of reasons driven by fear, like a man running away from a storm. Okay? And I believe that will open up the path towards what you're looking for, pile 3. Okay? And revisit the past. That's also reiterated. I can't talk today. Bleh. Reiterated. There we go. Enunciate words. There we go. I did it. Reiterated. Past. Look at the past. Revisit. Where has this happened in the past? Why? How did it turn out? Things like that. And remember not to give. Also remember to receive. Because you deserve to receive as much as you give, pile 3. So that is what I will leave you with today at my wonderful pile 3. I hope that reading was helpful for you. I hope it resonated. I hope you liked it. If so, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so yet, that just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day where you receive as much as you're giving, as we all deserve, right? And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.